Just prison inmates protest shortage of food supply. Inmates in the correctional center in Jos, the capital of Plateau State, on Friday last week staged a protest in the facility over the proposed reduction in their food supply. The inmates became agitated after getting wind of the decision to reduce their food supply. The agitated inmates refused to take orders from their custodial officials, and they also shunned breakfast. They converged on the center of the prison yard while shouting on top of their voices. But then the custodial officials used tear gas to force them back to their rooms. Confirming the protest to newsmen, head of Jos Correctional Center, Raphael Ibinuhi, said, and I quote, "The problem has to do with the high cost of goods in the market. The contractor in charge of the foods said they are being forced by the price of food items to reduce the size of the plate of foods. So it is the food size that provoked the protest. I don't think the protest is necessary because the food challenge and the cost of items is a national issue that the federal government is already addressing. And I want to believe that since it is a national issue, whatever step taken by the federal government to address it will be felt everywhere in the country, including the correctional centers." End of quote. All right. Now, people who are nearby the correctional facility also had a thing or two to say, about how they felt, when the whole shindig was going down. Imagine being locked up and then being given the news. First of all, food given to inmates, there is nothing to write home about, right? It's not food to make you look robust or make you feel satisfied or whatever. It's just food to keep you alive. Imagine being told that ration of food is going to be reduced again, or some things you used to enjoy, maybe like crayfish or something in the food, is going to be taken away. See, I think I understand where the inmates are coming from, but then let me hear from you, Mr.
The thing is, I am ambivalent about the news.
Really?
Yeah, because it doesn't strike me this way or that way, because, or I'll say it struck me this way and that way, you see. For one thing, there's hardship in the country and people are complaining. In the universities, the quality of food is decreasing across board, in
people
homes.
On camp, coppers.
Exactly, everywhere. People are beginning to feel the pinch of the economic hardship. Then for those in prison who are supposed to be under punishment, under correction, under some kind of regimentation, to be protesting, is it a place for whining and dining? It's a place you expected to bear the brunt of it.
Really?
For sure. It's like somebody in a war zone saying, I am tired of air raids, I am tired of sirens, I am tired of that. Those are inherent elements of war. Until the war is over, there will be noise of air raid and all that are associated with war. So you're in prison, a place you're supposed to be disciplined, severely punished, endure this tough regimen. And you're talking about...
Mr. Sukama, let me butt in there, all right? Gone are the days where, the prisons, that's where we're seen as, even though they are punitive establishments,
Yes.
all right? But then the focus these days is on it being more like a correctional facility. It's not to kill you while you are in detention.
Yes.
It's actually to reform you.
Yes.
And while you're being reformed, should you be starved to death?
Okay, those days in school, there was a kind of punishment we called runs. Runs means that, say, if you're late to the assembly, morning assembly, your name is written and a number of runs is given to you. So you run from a certain point to a certain point. That's correctional. That's punitive.
So you don't come late again?
You don't come late again. But as you're doing it in the early days when we have very disciplined and responsible principals, our principal will stand on some height, some kind of a cliff, somewhere you can see everybody running. If you slack, he calls your name. And if you don't take time, you do the runs over. Okay? So if you're to run, it's corrective. If you're to run, it's punitive. But there are standards for this running. And you can't run and come and say the running is too much. That's the point. That's the object of the run in itself. So the prison is a correctional facility. It's a place you are to be punished. And in handling that punishment, I don't know if you have the moral.
Starvation is part of it.
No, starvation is not part of it. They are not starving them. I don't think you have the moral authority to demand what is given to you and what is not given to you.
But what happens to the fundamental human right of every individual, whether you're free or you are incarcerated?
That's what I'm saying.
What happens to that?
It strikes me both ways. They're entitled to that fundamental human right. But on the other hand, that's why it struck me this way and struck me that way. But on the other hand, considering your circumstances, they are not saying we are not feeding you anymore. They are saying things are very hard. Therefore, we have to reduce the quantity of food we are giving to you in line with the prevailing economic circumstances in the country. Does a prisoner have the moral authority to say, no, we cannot take it, we need better food? Oh, no, I don't think he does. So he has the right, like you said, and on the other hand, has lost part of that right for being a prisoner. I use the word, I am ambivalent. It struck me this way, and it struck me that way, yes.
Okay, all right, that's Mrs. Kama's view. But then again, you say, does a prisoner have a right to protest? And I say yes, because a prisoner is a human being first.
Yes.
Even though you are being incarcerated and being reformed because of maybe a crime you committed, there are chances you can come out and be better.
Yes.
Which is the whole essence of you being put away. Go there so you can, take a journey into yourself, know you've done wrong, and then spend that time behind bars. To do time is like you are paying the price for the crime you've done. But then that doesn't mean you should be treated less than a human being. I know that in Nigerian prisons already, the conditions are
terrible,
not fit for humans,
yes.
Okay? Terrible already. But then on top of that, to now come and reduce the ration of food that is not even enough before.
If I understand the news, these guys are not saying we are sadistic. They are not saying we derive pleasure from your suffering. They are saying we want to feed you as much as we have been able, as much as we've done in the past. But considering the circumstances, everybody needs to adjust. That's all they say. And I don't think prisoners can legitimately, morally protest against that.
Okay, anyways, contractors who supply food to the Jos Correctional Center complained about incessant increases in prices of food items as experienced by every other Nigerians, and they say particularly that of rice, and consequently they requested to serve rice twice a week and supplement with other foods, as against, according to my findings, they serve rice 4 times a week, previously. So now they're going to reduce rice to twice a week, which is why the prisoners actually protested. I'm wondering what some of us should now do.
If prisoners are protested,
What should some of us actually do?
what do free citizens do?
Honestly, what should free citizens be doing at this point in time? I'm not mocking them or anything, but then the situation is just, if you don't want to cry, then you laugh. You get me. All right, so the situation has since been brought under control, and the custodial official said they've been able to assure the inmates that they will still get food. It's just that everybody has to cut their coats
According to their size.
Not size anymore, your clothes have you not reach your size, but you just cut it anyhow. Okay, and then there's nothing to panic about, but then it is what it is. First off, our prisons in Nigeria, most of them, if not all, are in very deplorable state. So I can understand the feelings of the inmates, on top of every other thing, we want to reduce food again, so it's a whole lot. But it's not only the inmates in Jos, who are feeling, the whole bite from this economic hardship. Over the weekend, there were news that some residents in Abuja, looted some warehouses, cutting away food stuff.